Welcome to WideNet Gaming. Today looking at the top 5 worst games for 2019. Quick disclaimer, these are limited to games that I reviewed in 2019. So there's 20 in total. The majority of them didn't release in 2019 launch, but they did have extra content, DLC, patches. So it's within that context of how the games are in 2019. And then the standard is amongst those 20 games. There's obviously better games than this, and obviously worse games. Also, I'm not including any retro reviews because there wasn't any content added. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's look at number 5, which is... If you remember from my review, I barely put this in the not recommended column. The reason why is there's a lot of good with the game. The story, the campaign, and the ambition with it. It's in a 3D space. You can go into most of the houses. There's some limitations there, but the survival bones for the game are there. The content that they added with the extra characters, and then the survival mode, which was what was originally in the base game. That's back in here too, and I considered that the best part of the game. The problem though is the AI and the exploitation of the map layout. What this means is you can either run away in the fight or flight scenarios and they won't catch you. That's one problem. Also the AI, they don't do things like random searches, so you can hide somewhere and then they'll just run off. So what happens is you're in a combat situation. If you're not going to fight, you can just run away and you'll have all these open areas, and then they won't follow you. You just repeat the cycle, wait for your stamina bar, and then run away. In complete contrast to We Happy Few, we have the unambitious Far Cry New Dawn. This is a continuation of Far Cry 5 from 2018's game. Problem with this one is it's just less of the game it's based off of and continuing. Is you have only one companion this time around, which is what was fun in the other game, is having that combination. And then the AI you're fighting against, it's just more of a pain. You have to upgrade your guns. They're bullet spongy, so you want to have a strong enough gun to fight against them. And this takes you out of the experience. The one benefit to that is the strongholds, capturing them, how the difficulty ramps up is more enjoyable. But overall, the game is less. There isn't a new story, a new location, and you're better off just playing Far Cry 5 if you haven't already. And then if you have, you can just skip this one and you're not missing anything. Amongst all the other games on this list, this is the one I feel the most bad about. Number 3 with Age of Empires Definitive Edition. The reason being that they couldn't have done anything more with this game graphically. It looks a lot better. They bumped up the population cap, and even multiplayer works perfectly fine when I tried that out. The problem is the base game became outdated so quickly when it released in the 90s, although it introduced a lot. Games like Age of Empires 2, and then StarCraft, and then Warcraft 3, which is just reintroduced with Reforged, just blew this one away. Going to the campaign, it's very bare bones. You have the same narrator, and then with the campaign, just static images, so they don't immerse you that way. It's mainly the graphical upgrade from the original, which you're able to switch back where it looks a lot better. But even with the release of Age of Empires 2 this year, you notice how dated this one is. It's everything this game is and more, with more variety in units, civilizations, and fortifications, walls, the size of the maps, the population caps. So if you're interested in ancient civilizations like the Minoans, Phoenicians, etc., otherwise you might as well just play Age of Empires 2. This one I don't feel bad about. Number 2, we have The Stillness of the Wind, which is a game about an older lady that is living her final years in rumination. It's okay for a game where you can't win. That's fine. There's other ones that do this. The problem with this one is the lack of depth or involvement that you have. I referenced this War of Mine as an example, where there's more random elements. Like here, you spoilers, randomly die, but the thing is, there isn't anything extra really to pull you in. You can kind of rummage around the area that you're at. Nothing matters, which again, that's fine. It's just that there's nothing to uncover up until you lose at the end. So it boils down to the experience up until that point, which the things you're doing, it's okay, and then it just suddenly stops, and then the game is over. It's too quick to invest you into it. And this is what's going to happen with most people playing it. Boom, it's over, and that's it. But if you really want to check it out, it is very short, and it is on Xbox Game Pass. And my number one, by far, worst game for 2019 is Kingdom Hearts 3. Problem with this one is the way it was deliberately made, affecting the story as well as the gameplay. Influences from their fan base and Disney. First, looking at the gameplay. Skill-wise, it's limited. The hard part is in the first world, you're learning the button commands. You have your attack commands, and then you have the rides after you build up your meter. And then that's it. The rest is avoiding combat, repeat, rinse, recycle. Along with this, the characters. You're stuck with the same 3, although the other ones are partaking with you in each world. You don't take them with you. You don't mix and match or build up your group. That's the gameplay. Story, it's even worse. The problem on the Disney influence end is that they can't change the stories of the worlds that they're occupying. So they kind of try to shoehorn the darkness within the story, but that just removes the weight of the worlds that they're going into. It's just more fun to explore, to kind of see them come to life in a game, and then that's it. That's why it gets old the longer that you play. There isn't that depth. That's the Disney side. The fantasy side is, it has that convoluted story problem, and then it is just a slog. It's the last third of the game. This is like a 60, 70 hour game you're playing. You're playing that section of the game, and story-wise it makes no sense, but because they're continuing the game from before, that goes on. So nothing to grab onto gameplay-wise or story, and that's why it is my worst. However, if you are interested in Kingdom Hearts 3 or Far Cry New Dawn, check out Gamefly, and for all the rest, check out Xbox Game Pass in the links below, and I will see you next time.